Can you believe that the United States went from this to this for only $15 million or 3 cents per acre?
President Jefferson wanted to buy the city of New Orleans for the large port. He feared that the French settlers would close the port from use of the United States. Without this important port from the U.S., farmers wouldn't be able to ship out crops and goods.
In April 1803, President Jefferson sent James Monroe to France to negotiate the purchase of the port of New Orleans with Napoleon. Not this Napoleon, this Napoleon.
Okay. When Monroe arrived in France, he was prepared to buy the city for more than a mere $7.5 million. But instead, Napoleon proposed for him to buy the whole territory for a bargain of $15 million. He jumped at the opportunity. Jefferson gave the okay, and the U.S. now possessed Louisiana territory, doubling in size of the country.
Jefferson was pleased with his decision, but now needed to know what exactly he bought. He planned an expedition to explore his new territory, but was in need of some willing explorers.
Jefferson called upon a young officer, Captain Meriwether Lewis, to lead this expedition. Lewis then called up his friend, Lieutenant William Clark, to gather a group of experienced explorers to tag along. Clark also proved to be a great outdoorsman and a great map maker. He was a very good leader as well. Their group became known as the Corps of Discovery, which were soon known as the Lewis and Clark Expedition.
Another interesting member of the group was a young man named York. York was Clark's slave and was the only African-American man to go on the expedition. York proved to be really important to the expedition. He was skilled in hunting, which also caught interest in the Indian population. He was the first black man many had ever seen and was quite patient with them. Many would ask to rub water on his skin to make sure he wasn't a black man painted white, or a white man painted black.
The expedition started in the summer of 1803, and by winter, the Corps of Discovery were stationed in St. Louis, located on the west bank of the Mississippi. In March 1804, they got the signal that Louisiana was officially the U.S. by flying the flag over the city.
40 explorers set out in May and headed up the Mississippi River with instructions to explore the river given by President Jefferson. They had hoped to find a water route of the continent.
Another instruction they were given was to make good relations with the Indians of the area, describe the landscape, plants, and animals they were encountered along the way. In the spring of 1805, they were on their feet again, but this time they had 3 more tag-alongs: a French trapper, his 17-year-old wife, Sacagawea, and their child. Sacagawea came from the Shoshone tribe. She proved very helpful throughout. The travel with language abilities and knowledge of the area.
They hit a bit of a bump in the road when they reached the Great Falls of Missouri. According to Lewis, it was quite a scene, though. To get around the falls, they had to carry transportation devices such as canoes, boats, heavy supplies, and clothing for more than 18 miles. They did build wheels for their boats, but to make it a little easier. Even with the wheels, though, it took a good 2 weeks to get past this dilemma.
Sacagawea pointed out Shoshone land as they approached the Rockies. Luckily, the chief was Sacagawea's brother, so he was nothing but happy to give Lewis and Clark some horses to get the voyage west.
The explorers then explored the Columbia River, which led them straight to the Pacific Ocean. In November 1805, they reached the ocean. Clark even wrote in his journal he kept "Ocean in view, oh the joy." They spent a rain-soaked winter there, but returned to St. Louis the next year.
They never did find the water route, but did bring back loads of information about the region.
One more expedition of the Louisiana Territory took place in 1806, led by Zebulon Pike. He explored the southern part of the territory. His mission was to find the mouth of the Arkansas and Red Rivers. He brought along 24 men and headed westward across the Great Plains. The Arkansas River led them to the Rocky Mountains. After finding that, they returned south, hoping to find the Red River source. But they ran into trouble when they met the Rio Grande, which was in Spanish territory. Pike and his explorers were arrested.
As you can see, exploring the West was proved to be very important to scientists scientific discoveries in our history. Not only did they bring back maps of wildlife in the area, but they also brought back memories and adventures